Good day everyone, I am Jessamay Ayanong, 19 years old, a BSed Soksay 1E, and a student of character in the University of Antique. So for today, together with my partner, Miss Kate Aviano, we're going to discuss to you our topic about preservation of endangered natural landscapes and places. So first, do you have any idea about the word preservation? Or do you have any primary idea about the endangered natural landscapes and places in the world? And also the 6 ways on how we are going to preserve our natural landscapes and places? If you have not, then let's proceed to this lesson. So first we have here the definition of preservation. So what is preservation? This is defined as the awkward process of applying measures necessary to sustain the existing form, integrity, and materials of an historical property. So when we say preservation, this came from the word preserve, which is to maintain something on its original state or existing state, and also setting aside land and even our natural resources. So that is preservation. So let's proceed to preservation and conservation. So these are both processes that protect the environment, but their approaches are somewhat different. So the goal of preservation is to protect the environment from the harmful effects of human activity. For example, conserving a forest typically involves sustainable logging practices to minimize deforestation. And also, preservation would involve setting aside part or even all of the forest from human development. So that is preservation and conservation. So let's proceed to why is preservation necessary. So in 1800s, the world's population was 1 billion people. So today, it is over 7 billion and it continues to rise. So an increase in people means a greater demand for water, food, lumber, and other resources that came from natural environments. So increasing in demand can drive people to exploit resources even in regions well protected by preservation laws. So we have here the 2 Republic Acts. So we have number 1, National Historic Preservation Act of 1966. So the National Historic Preservation Act is legislation intended to preserve historic and archaeological sites in the United States of America. So the act created the National Register of Historic Places, the list of national historical landmarks, and the state historic preservation offices. So we have here in the Philippines Republic Act number 10066, or an act providing for the protection and conservation of the national cultural heritage, strengthening the National Commission for Culture and the Arts, or NCCA, and its affiliated cultural agencies, and for other purposes. So this is enacted by the Senate and House of Representatives of the Philippines in Congress. So in short, this act shall be known as the National Cultural Heritage Act of 2009. So let's proceed to the importance of natural landscapes and places. So why it is important that we're going to preserve our natural landscapes and places? So because our landscape and features contribute significantly to our well-being and quality of life. So they provide a broader context within which we live our lives. So living within aesthetically pleasing and culturally meaningful landscapes enhances our sense of well-being. So that is the importance. And also another reason, visiting largely undeveloped landscapes enable people to reconnect with nature, to refresh their minds and bodies, and to gain a greater appreciation on our natural heritage. So as we go along, according to the World Wildlife Fund, the biological diversity supported by these places is disappearing at an alarming rate. So nearly 10,000 species go extinct per year. Many of these species have adapted to live in a very specific environmental conditions, while some environmental changes may be inevitable or irreversible, but there is still much that we can do to help to protect these endangered places. So even in the smallest act can have a big impact. So let's proceed to the top 10 of the most endangered places in the world. So I'm going to play a video about the 10 of the most endangered natural landscapes and places in the world. See from the video, we have top 10 of the most endangered natural landscapes and places in the world. Number 1, we have Micronesia and Polynesia. Number 2, tropical Andes. Number 3, Antarctica. 4, Borneo rainforest. 5, the Amazon. 6, Coral Triangle. Number 7, Sky Islands, Arizona. Number 8, the Himalayas. Number 9, the Mediterranean Sea. And number 10, the Glacier National Park. So these places and features can make our planet a better place as you get to witness some majestic scenes. Protecting them is our responsibility, but with climate change and the amount of human damage done by humans, these formations would be the same as they used to be.
Good day everyone, I am Kate Tabiano and I am here to report the 6 ways we can preserve and protect natural landscapes or landforms from danger. So number 1, we have slope protection. A slope that's been formed recently or it's been there naturally. They all need protection from erosion. Tapos, the goal should be to increase the soil's resistance to erosion that will slow down the process by not letting the shape change in any form. We have number 2, the glacier protection. The structure of glaciers is consistently changing as they are melting rapidly, not only affecting human habitats. Animals in the surrounding areas are struggling to survive as the melting glaciers are causing sea levels to rise, giving them less land to live on. So this is some images of glaciers, glacier protections. Number 3 is cave protection. Littering in caves is a major problem. It may seem like there's an obvious solution, but worldwide we have seen that littering is on the rise. There is a need for regular cleanups and the level of littering is consistently increasing. The garbage that decomposes can make the cave smell unpleasant and can cause harm to any animals or creatures living inside. So we have riverbank protection. Riverbanks are important for the ecosystem as they support a variety of animals. A great way of protecting riverbanks is by making sure sufficient vegetation is available around the banks. Grasses, ground covers, shrubs, and trees protect the soil from eroding. If the bank is steep, geotextile fabric should be placed for vegetarian. Wetland protection. Why protect wetlands? These areas are where water covers soil. Wetlands are important for our ecosystem as they protect and improve the overall water quality. They also protect fish and other wildlife, store floodwaters, and maintain water surface through dry periods. A good way of protecting wetlands is by cordoning off the perimeter. It's also important to educate tourists so they understand the importance of the preservation of wetlands. So 6, we have forest protection. When you think of a forest, the Amazon must come to your mind instantly. It's an area that many people would love to visit, but sadly, due to the speed at which we are destroying them, the next generation will likely never get to see them in their true glory. In order to prevent damage to our forests and rainforests, we should try to prevent floods from getting to the mainland. We also need to improve the quality of air as all living habitats, including endangered species, are currently living in those environments. So, this is the end of my reporting.